Meds Declassified School Survival Guide. Your results may vary.
In the 21st century, we're living in a world that's run by technology. More specifically, we're living in a world that's run by social media. But don't worry about it, because my group and I are here to help.
Hello everyone, my name is Abigail Jong. Today I'm going to be giving you tips from my social media survival guide for parents. Today's generation of parents did not grow up with very much social media, so it can be hard for them to know when their child is the right age to start using social media and what dangers they should look out for. The first question you should ask yourself when considering giving your children social media is your child mature enough and responsible enough to process everything they might see on social media? Social media is public, so it gives your child access to everything. This can be dangerous in many ways. It can expose your children to inappropriate content, violent content, or just things that don't align with their family morals. It could also expose them to dangerous people or scammers, hackers, or even predators. It's important to know what your child would do if they were to encounter one of these things. Would your child continue to engage in the risky or inappropriate content, or would they feel comfortable coming to talk to you about these things? And would you be able to help them through it? Another question you should ask yourself is, how would your child react if they were contacted by a stranger, especially someone that might be a potential predator or a scammer? Would your child be smart enough to block this person or delete the message, or would they try to interact with them? It is important to keep an eye out for fake accounts, scams, and hackers. Oftentimes, fake accounts are made where people pretend to be celebrities, modeling companies, or even your own friends in order to make you click their links or even send them money. I once knew a teenager who met a friend online and eventually tried to meet up with them in person without their parents' knowledge, and this ended up becoming a very dangerous situation. In order to prevent scammers and predators from contacting your child, it is very important that your child has a private social media account and only follows people that they know in real life. Stranger danger is a very real thing, especially when it comes to social media. Remember to have conversations with your child about these things so that they can be safe and stay internet smart. Another important thing to talk to your child about is what they should and shouldn't post on social media. Remind your child to never post personal information such as phone numbers, addresses, passwords, or other documents. Even if these things are just in the background of a photo or video, somebody dangerous might get a hold of them and it could become a problem. Remind your child that every photo and every video are permanent once they are put on the internet. Even the comments they put on their friends' posts can't be deleted permanently. Your child could try to delete these things in the future, but they're never really gone. You never know who could be screenshotting or saving or sharing your posts, so make sure you think twice about posting something that's rude, embarrassing, or even something that could potentially affect your future college or job applications. It is also important to set limits on screen time for your children, especially if they're young. Time limits can help prevent social media addiction in young kids, and it can also encourage your child to spend time doing more beneficial things, like schoolwork, hobbies, sports, music, or even just interacting with other kids face-to-face. An easy way to do this is to adjust the settings in your child's device so that certain apps lock when they meet their time limit. It's important to create good social media habits now rather than correcting bad habits later. I also think it's very important for parents to be educated on the different forms of social media and to stay up to date with the latest apps and trends. I know this can be very difficult and overwhelming to do, but it's oftentimes there are dangerous trends that pop up, such as the Momo trend, which was a scary YouTube trend that would encourage children to hurt themselves and others. Another dangerous trend was the Slender Man challenge, which actually resulted in a child murdering another child. The most recent dangerous trend I have heard of is called the Blackout Challenge, which actually encourages children to strangle themselves until they pass out. This is supposed to create some type of euphoric experience, but it's obviously very dangerous. The best way for parents to stay up to date with these dangers and trends is to use sources like commonsensemedia.org, which gives great social media tips for parents and keeps them up to date on anything they may be concerned about.
Alright guys, how's it going? Pouria here. Today our topic is going to be catfishing and how to avoid it. With the global pandemic and all this, online dating has become the #1 way kids, or should I say young adults like yourself and I, find dates. Let's talk about it. Social media, online dating apps such as Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, a personal one that I use. And I'm going to tell you a story about a way to not get catfished, because this is 2021 and catfishing is at an alarming rate. So you don't want to get catfished. And I speak from experience. So let's take you back to I think it was 3 months ago. The first date I went on, I have to say I was catfished. Now, I have to give you guys some advice on how not to be catfished from my personal experience. So the things that I messed up on was not getting a recent photo, not checking social media currently, not asking for an Instagram or a Snapchat or anything. The only thing I did was speak on the phone and saw photos that could have been 5 years old. Now mind you, she did not look anything like that once I arrived to the date. Once I got to her house, she was walking up to my car. It was too late to drive away. So I said, why not? I'll go and have a fun night and get some drinks and it'll be good. But not only was I catfished, the date went horrible. Nothing about it was fine. We didn't collide personalities. She was very judgmental of me. She told me I need to get my stuff together and this and that. I do MMA and she told me that I'm not going to be a real fighter because I don't train. And basically she said, since you're here, that means you're not trained. And I was forced to pay over $100 for that meal. I had to awkwardly say I had a great night and drive home, but I had to give her a ride. And unfortunately, of course, she wanted me to come over for the night. I had to say I have training in the morning to prove to her that I am serious about it. So I said I can't. And then I went home and that was the end of that. And something else, one of my buddies last week, he went out on a date on Hinge. He went to, Huntington Beach. And get this, the guy texts me the next day at 5 in the morning and says he got roofied. A girl bought him a beer, and the next thing he knows, he wakes up in the middle of an alley with firefighters asking him if he's okay. His wallet is missing, his car keys are missing, he has a black eye, so basically he got jumped and robbed. So here's some things you need to do to avoid that. Do not, and I mean do not, trust the photos that you see on the apps. Even if they say those are current photos, just ask for a more current photo. Ask for their Instagram, and then you can see what they've posted. Has it been 6 months? Has it been over a year? Is it even a guy pretending to be a girl or vice versa? You never know what's going on. Do not, and I mean do not, accept a drink, a beverage of any sort from your date. You don't want any open drinks. The only way you accept a drink from someone is if the server hands it to you. Don't ever leave your drink unattended. If you go to the bathroom, chug that baby down. Don't leave that unattended. And yeah, do not accept any drinks from anyone else. It's been fun, you guys. Pouria here. I hope I helped you guys on your future dating apps. And I know this COVID thing is going to be around, so it's kind of hard for us to meet people in person. We got to adapt. We got to overcome these obstacles that are thrown our way. So I hope I helped you guys out with what to do, not to do, and what to do. Bye.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth, and we're talking about social media and its negative effects on your mental health. Social media, while it could be fun and a great way to spend some time, can have a lot of negative effects on your mental health. Using social media in moderation is really not dangerous at all, but if you start to invest a lot of your time and start habitually using it and checking in on it, you can kind of damage the way that you perceive the world and perceive yourself. According to studies by Amber Thorpe, prolonged usage of social media can affect or has affected girls ages 13 to 15 in increased depression, increased self-harm, and decreased sense of self-esteem. Now, this is something that I can relate to because when I was younger, beginning around the age of 13 years old, I developed a kind of addiction to social media that at the time I wasn't really much aware of until I was around the age of, like, let's say 17. During this time, my self-esteem dropped a lot. I was hyper-focused on all of these girls posting pictures of themselves on social media, all these people that I knew in my school who had all these friends and did all of these amazing things, like go on adventures to Yosemite, go out and eat at fancy restaurants, things like that. Things that I just couldn't experience for myself because I didn't have a lot of friends. I was very introverted as a child and I just didn't have the money for. So naturally, I kind of tried to live vicariously through them, and it just really damaged me. I felt a lot of like instant gratification, like a kind of like a dopamine rush whenever I got lots of likes on Instagram whenever I got past a certain amount of followers, and I had set goals for myself and everything, and it just wasn't good. I was never truly happy. Once the likes started slowing down, I kind of just felt useless. I felt like I wasn't enough, you know? So that definitely ruined a good amount of my years as an adolescent, because I just had this negative view of myself for years, and I couldn't live happily like a lot of people did, like a lot of my peers did. I just kind of sat back and kind of would wonder, why isn't this me? Why can't I look like her? Why can't I do this? Instead of just making an effort into making my own life interesting and focusing on improving myself and developing skills and doing hobbies, that really was not great. In an article by Ray Alonso, her findings suggest that increased social media time leads to an increase in depressive symptoms, anxiety, and psychological stress. Regular checking of social media can also contribute to anxiety, which can lead to you increasing your usage of social media because you keep wanting to check in to see how things are going online, which can lead to an addiction, which is basically what happened to me. So tips would be to just limit your screen time overall. Try not to be on the phone as much. You can pick up other hobbies to spend more time with your family and friends. But when you do, try not to be on your phone so much. Just try not to pick it up at all while you're talking to other people and you're just enjoying other people's company. One way to go about this would be to turn off your notifications or put your phone on Do Not Disturb or on airplane mode. Tip number 3 would be to follow who you really watch and follow on social media. Just check in to make sure that these people that you are following are not negatively affecting your mental health. Make sure that you're following them because you enjoy them and not just to kind of live vicariously through them and their social media posts. All right, now I gotta head out. I gotta go back to class, but see y'all later.
So as you can tell, social media addiction is such a real thing. Did you know that statistics have been reporting an average annual increase of at least 10% in social media users? From kids becoming addicted to our mental health being in jeopardy, to Pouria getting catfished. Poor dude. We must put a stop to this. We can't be the 60% of adults who sleep with their phone next to them. Come to think about it, that explains the 50% of them who claim that they can't sleep well. Instead of scrolling on TikTok like many of you are right now for 3 hours straight, you have to practice healthy things. Don't record yourself going to Target just for a candle and end up posting 30 million stories on your page. Here's a tip. Instead, go outside and get ice cream with your grandma. Wash your car. Go play fetch with your dog. If you don't have a dog, go play fetch with your little brother. Like one woman said, we don't need to Instagram about our dessert. Nobody cares about our cheesecake. Wow, I live by that. We can't let the likes and follows have control over us because the numbers will pave the road to an obsession. Set a goal, set reminders, set strategies because you can overcome this obsession if this is something you're dealing with. Don't be afraid to delete your account. Don't be afraid to delete your apps, deactivate. Don't be afraid to do any of that because everything will be there when you log back in. Oops, and that's my cue to leave. We hope you enjoyed our survival guide on social media addiction, and we hope that you do take a break from it to just simply go outside and enjoy life. Well, I'm gonna go make a TikTok. Bye!
Coming up, looking out, I'll survive, and no doubt, never fear, bring it on, break it down, what's in my way?
Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Your results may vary.